Proud privilege to introduce Nita Ganguly. I was going through her profile. What a fantastic profile. An educator, humanist, motivator, attitude changer, author, climate leader, mentor, national coordinator, waste management, TCRP India. She has been an educator for over 2 decades, who has won several national and state awards, including national winner of Rustam Irani Foundation's Best Teachers Award for Excellence in Education in 2004 and Excellence in Teaching Award in Innovative Teaching Practices in 2010. When she worked at Sanskriti School, Delhi, a Fulbright Scholar 2009 and a TEDx Speaker 2017. Chairperson for Asha School, Western Command, winner of AWWA Award of Excellence in 2017 from Regional President AWWA Headquarter Western Command. She has also been the headmistress of Army Public School in Roorkee and Lucknow, where she emphasized and integrated environmental studies with regular curriculum. In 2008, she was certified as a climate leader by the Nobel laureate and the former vice president of USA, Mr. A.L. Gore, who is the founder of Climate Reality Project. Ever since, she has not looked back and has reached out to defense personnel from different commands she visited, as well as civil societies, including the REC Pickers, through several CR presentations, hands-on workshop and mentoring programs. Her profile as a climate leader was put up on Victory Hall of the Climate Project Asia Pacific Summit in Jakarta 2011. Nita was invited by TCRP to represent Southeast Asia to go live from Delhi at 24 hours of reality and live Earth. The world is watching on November 14, 2015, fortnight before the COP21 held in Paris. On 6 December 2016, she again represented India as a climate leader in the global broadcasting event of the 24-hour of reality, The Road Forward, hosted by former Vice President of USA, Mr. A.L. Gore, founder of the Climate Reality Project. She mentored for Climate Reality Leadership Corps 2015, and in the COVID pandemic, she mentored 2 virtual global training programs for Climate Reality Leadership Corps in July and August 2020. She is the National Coordinator, Waste Management for TCRP India under A.L. Gore's Climate Leadership Program, also in the Advisory Board of Earth Day Network, Eco Network, and TCRP India. She authored 2 colored illustrated children's storybook on current environment issues, Polytrap 2016, and Hello Earth, Here We Come 2017, published by Rupa Publications. Under the Red Turtle series, she was series editor for the Active Tech Saga, a series published by Pearson Education 2017. She also authored the UNESCO report on a Green School project for Maldives government on behalf of the Climate Project Foundation in 2015. More books are in the pipeline with other publishers. She firmly believes that people cannot be forced to adopt certain attitudes unless they embrace a sense of responsibility and accountability to protect the environment. And today she is going to talk on a very important subject of our life, zero waste. So proudly presenting you, Nita Ganguly. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Can I share my slides?
Yeah.
Yes, you can, sure.
Thank you. Can you all see?
Yes, we can.
Yeah,
see.
we can.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Dr. Sharma, for contacting me and giving me this opportunity to address such an august crowd. I'm totally very humble and totally obliged. Thank you so much. So, as you know, is the slide changing? Can you see this change in slide?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So as you can see, my topic for today is zero waste, but I do not consider waste to be a waste. I consider it to be a resource waiting in the transit bins, what we call dustbins, to be reused and then recycled. There is value added to everything that we throw away. We just have to recognize it. That is what I believe. If you look at waste, except for the radioactive waste, practically all the waste that you see on the screen is found in our home. And this is what we need to look at, and look at in a different way. We need to rethink waste, and that is what is important. The problems we are facing around us, the garbage problem we are facing, is because we are not looking at it as a resource. If you look at solid waste management, is a major problem, especially in our urban India. I mean, if you look, India tops the list. But if you look at per capita generation per person, we are actually in the lower end. I don't know if you've ever noticed, if you've ever traveled in a train, there's a stark difference when a village is approaching and when a city is approaching. Notice it if you can this time. You will find that whenever we are reaching a village station, it's green, it's beautiful, it's clean. And the moment we are entering any cities, you know we are entering it because you will find garbage all around you, piles and piles of garbage all around you. And this is very stark differences seen when we are traveling by train. So if you look at the municipal, every municipal by the urban municipal, I'm saying this is the 2016 data, every day we are actually generating 16 million tons of municipal waste. 43 million tons gets collected, 20% gets treated, and the rest all gets dumped around us. In fact, to take care of this dumped landfill, we need about 1,240 hectares of land to accommodate it. So what happens to the 19 million tons of solid waste which never gets picked up from our home? Look around the streets, your window, and you'll see they are lying on the streets. And that is what is a big concern. It is estimated that by 2030, our waste will increase to 165 million tons. We need a city like Bangalore every year to accommodate this. And if we do not do anything about this, then we are actually going to wallow in our muck. So you see, this is a data I'm talking about is 2016, but this is 2021, and we know we are facing a huge problem of pandemic. If you look at world generates about 2 billion tons of solid waste annually. This is 2018. 40% of this are either burnt or goes into the landfills. But since the pandemic has happened, it has increased to 40%. So that estimated 165, which we had estimated 2016, has all gone for a 6. Now the calculations have all changed. If you look at only Maharashtra, 62.4 tons were produced of biomedical waste. I'm only talking about biomedical waste and not of the black bags, that is the municipal solid waste. 62.4 tons of biomedical waste were generated daily. But now 90.6 tons of biomedical waste are generated daily. In fact, I read an article in Times of India today, and it was giving a valuation of April 1 to 6. And the BMC, it is said that in a week, they collected in the yellow bag about 1,265 kg of biomedical waste is collected every day. And when you talk about the black bags, that is the solid waste, it's nearly 50,000 kg of waste, which is collected now. And this is becoming a huge problem to us. Remember in 2016, the newspapers were read that the huge garbage fire in India's biggest city was so bad that it could be seen from the space. And it made international headlines. Yes, we're talking about the Deona dumping ground, which is one of the largest and the oldest dump in our country. And this burned for about more than a week, where people around them were actually breathing that toxic dioxin burnt air, polluted air, which is actually a neurotoxic. And see what is its close proximity. It's very close to Thane Creek. And therefore, it not only imposes a threat to our, air, but also to our soil and definitely to our water. Have you ever noticed that when you keep a plastic chair or a plastic, a gamla or any bottles outside, and let it be outside for quite some time, the plastic starts becoming hard and slowly it eventually starts cracking and breaking into pieces. Well, this phenomenon is called photodegradation because in the presence of light, heat, and moisture, which is there, it actually reacts and it actually gives out a greenhouse gas, and this is what is happening around us. So that Diona, whatever spills over and falls into and eventually goes into the Thane Creek, is actually comes to our table. And this is what we need to know, because you see, we are using sea salt every day. And it is said, and there is findings that 90% of the samples when they tested, they found microplastic in them. So you see, plastic breaks and breaks and breaks into tiny and tiny pieces, maybe smaller than even the crystal of a salt, but it will never decompose and disappear. That takes thousands of years, and before that we are bioaccumulating in our body huge amount of plastic which is coming into our daily diet every day. Well, I read an article where the Free Press said that in February 14, 2021 article where BMC is planning to build a wall to prevent the contamination of the Thane Creek. So I believe the wall is going to be about 2 kilometers in length, and it's going to go about 25 meters down, so that whatever is spilling over from the Deonar into the Thane Creek, it can be prevented. Somehow I feel we have a complexity bias, you see. Instead of tackling the problem at source, we are thinking about building a wall. But it's like an ostrich mentality, don't you think so? Out of sight, out of mind, but it really doesn't work that way. So what exactly is a landfill? What does it contain? Plastic, glass, metals, thermocols, that's it. It also has a kitchen waste, a garden waste, which is biodegradable, which decomposes. And when it decomposes, because it gets covered with all this, it decomposes and it actually produces a gas known as methane gas. It is that which just burns and creates all the problem. What if we stop throwing this biodegradable waste into our landfills? Just stop it. Do you think those birds are going to be interested in eating those plastic and the thermocoals? I don't think so. So don't you think those stinking landfills can immediately be turned into a resourceful? And this resource is nothing but opportunity. It is pesa. We can actually reuse it and we can make various products and we can recycle it. So, but with our foolish behavior of mixing the waste, we are actually devaluing what is valuable. And this is what I say, resource, that is what it is. It is not a waste, provided we look at it, we treat it in the right way. So don't put your waste to waste. We can use that methane gas as it's a biogas. We can use it for our cooking, for our various burning processes, and the trash can be cashed. It is as simple as that, provided they are segregated at source, and that is what is important. You see, in the living world, there are no landfills. Somebody's waste becomes food for another. Somebody's poison becomes potion for another. It is only in our world that we take, we make, we use, and we dispose. It is this disposable habit that needs a change, and it is possible. It's very simple if we have the attitude. We are already living in a pandemic world, isn't it? And it's not the wet market. Each landfill is as bad as a wet market. It's a cesspool of diseases, and they're just next to our home. So we need to learn to handle, to treat, and safely dispose our household waste. And in order to do that, it is not a rocket science. It's a very simple process, provided we have the attitude. Without the right attitude, nothing can work. And that is what we need to look into. You see, these people who come to our doorstep and they collect that waste from us, they are the second most important human shields to coronavirus after the health workers, of course. If they fall sick, if they stop coming and they stop collecting that garbage from our homes, we will be wallowing in our own muck. So CPCB has actually given us guidelines, and it has told us that we should take care of our household waste and divide them into three categories: the biomedical waste, the recyclables, which is the dry, and the compostables. First, I'm going to talk about the biomedical waste, which we are all concerned about. As I just now read it, the proportion and the quantity is enormous and is increasing. Actually, before the pandemic, we were not able to handle it, and now every day 101 metric tons of waste is being collected in India. If you look at these biomedical waste, there are all these syringes and various swabs and other things. Even our sanitary napkins, the diapers, and the masks are becoming a huge problem. But there are certain products which are available to us, which are eco products, which can be reused again and again. In fact, they are safer for us. In fact, we need to understand, if we pollute our environment, it is going to come back to us like the table salt I told you about. So we need to switch and give up these PP masks and switch to cloth masks, switch to cloth sanitary napkins, and there are cloth diapers also, because then we can make a huge difference to the waste, which is anyway we are not able to handle. And next is, how do we dispose them? There are incinerators, electric incinerators, even non-electric incinerators, which are available in the market. There are plenty of them, and we need to make use of it. Find out according to what is your production in your colony or your house. You can actually get them, and they actually work miracles. In fact, when we are, even if we have to dispose it for some reason or the other, we need to have certain concern for those people who are picking up these napkins. So there is a red dot movement which is started in Pune, and it's spreading in Maharashtra, and that is a simple task. Just wrap the sanitary napkins in a newspaper, mark it with a red dot. The people who are picking up the garbage understand what that red dot means. It is giving respect and just telling them that, yes, I care. This attitude is important, and this is what we need to spread to everyone. So what do you do with the biomedical waste which is there in the house? There are certain protocols which is given by the CPCB, and this is very simple. You double bag it, not single, double bag, so that if it tears, it does not spill out. It doesn't have to be something with a marking or a yellow color. It can be any double bagged, it can be used, any color can be used. Tie them out so that nothing spills out, because remember, these are biohazards. It can be a swab, it can be a glove, it can be a mask, it can be anything which you're dealing with a patient, so you don't want the disease to spread. Mark it or write it with a pen, and if there are sharps like syringes and blades and broken vials and glasses, please put them in a container like a cardboard box or a bottle. Spray it. Tell the person before handling that these are biohazards. That's all we need to do. Just a little difference in our attitude can actually save a lot of lives and spread this disease from spreading to others. Recyclables, as it says, these are the dry waste, and I always say recyclable is paisa, paisa, paisa. It makes money, provided we don't soil it, we do not devalue it. Well, the way you look at it, it's art for some people, but it is a useful product, and it should be treated in a right way. First, whenever we are segregating the dry waste, make sure there are no biodegradable food items in it. Even if you have some dahika containers and all, wash it, dry it, reuse it for your plants, but make sure that it does not soil the dry waste, because the whole value of it diminishes once it starts stinking. And even nobody will like to pick it up from you. What do I do with it? Well, actually, you can divide it into two places. Your wet should go in a different bin, and the dry can go in another bin. If you want to go further ahead and segregate it even further according to metal, paper, glass, plastic, please go ahead and do it. That's going to be actually beneficial. But all sharps like broken glasses, blades, syringes, they should be kept in a separate box. They should be treated separately because they are going to be handled by somebody. So you don't want to injure someone. So yes, it has value provided we segregate them at source. This is what I do at home. I even keep batteries in the plastic bottles because I don't want them to leach out. But batteries are e-waste. They should be actually treated with care. I have a mini drop box in my kitchen. I collect each and every tiniest of the tiniest plastic goes into that. Once I have enough, I pack it and I send it for recycling for plastics. So you can make eco bricks. People are talking about eco bricks where you just fill it with plastics and you keep pushing in more and more plastic. And there are people who can build actually buildings with eco bricks. If you Google and search, you will find out a whole lot of things. A drop box in a society is a wonderful idea. In fact, you can have that so people can just throw their plastic. But yes, a warning has to be there. As I said, it should not be soiled. In fact, this Yoshi, actually Gobi became more famous, but Yoshi was the first fish which was created by a sculptor in Karnataka because the beaches of the Karnataka were strewn with plastic. So they didn't know how to do what to do about it. And you see, people don't like to be told no. They don't like, don't do it. Whenever that message is there, people do it. So he gave a very positive message and he wrote that Yoshi loves plastic and loves to eat plastic. Please feed Yoshi plastic. And people actually started throwing their plastic bottles into its mouth instead of throwing in this. So maybe positivity or with positive message is what we need to actually change mindset, and that is important. Well, all the products, if you Google and find out, there is a quarantine time where the virus dies in different materials. You can find out if you are handing over your material and there's a COVID patient in the house, please quarantine your materials. And then you sanitize it before handing it over to as I told you, the second most important COVID shields which we have, and that is the people who come and collect waste from a house. Kabadi Walas is an old concept. We need to go back to it. And this is Radhi Connect is a Mumbai Kabadi Wala. Remember, Kabadi Wala pays you money for collecting the trash. So obviously he's not going to go and dump it in the landfill. There is money for him too. So why not connect to our Kabadi Walas? But when it comes to e-waste, that is even your batteries and bulbs and electronic gadgets, don't give it to a Kabadi Wala if he doesn't know how to handle it, because most of the e-waste have hazardous materials in it, and therefore they need to be designed to be handled in a very careful and a scientific manner. Rico is the person who is handling such waste in Mumbai. So I have connected to him. You can also connect and pass on this word. In fact, he talks about a concept of urban mining, and where all the gadgets actually have a lot of precious metals in it where he can extract it. So obviously he is paying you for your garbage. So if we take and we recycle our waste in the right way, we can reduce the impact on our health, on our air, on our water and our soil. And this is important that we all follow the scientific method. You see, first garbage cafe was actually started in Chhattisgarh, and they said, you give us plastic, we'll give you food. Nothing is free in this world. They are actually using it to make roads. Do you know that plastic comes from petrol, but can we get back petrol from the plastic, even a single-use plastic? And the answer is yes. And there is a procedure known as thermocatalytic depolymerizer, TCD. There is an organization which is running in Pune, and it's called Rudra Foundation. They are actually converting from each ton of plastic they're collecting. Even if it is soil, they're collecting it. Even if it is single use, they're collecting it. They get about 600 to 650 liters of poly fuel. And they produce other materials also which are not harmful to our environment. So this is cash. Let's encash it. Don't throw the plastic, because the moment plastic burns, it takes out a gas known as dioxin, which is a neurotoxic. And therefore, it should be sent in the right way. Another new device which has come up is known as a polycrack, which is the Indian Railway is using it. They're actually producing hydrofuels from mixed waste. So whether it has got plastic or petroleum sludge or even municipal waste, automobile fluff, e-waste, everything, bamboo, jatropha, they are actually producing hydrocarbon liquid fuels with gas, carbon over. So this is practically a zero waste technology, which has been patented, but this is an excellent device, and a lot of people are actually working on various methods of using waste as a fuel. A service that we use nowadays is an online service. We keep buying things, we keep adding more things to our budget, but let's keep a budget from that money that you want to spend, and why not use the same service on the online service or the courier service and send your waste back to those people who are recycling it. I think this is a mindset we need to start. We are collecting a lot of waste, we are just throwing it outside, it goes to the landfill. Instead of, let's keep a budget and let's send it back so that it can be recycled, whatever is recyclable. This is an attitudinal change, of course. Compostable, as the name says, compost when it is compostables, right? So if you look at compostables, if you see this, this is खुशबू ऐसा जो दीवाना बना दे. Now if you look carefully, शाहरुख खान किसके लिए कह रहा है? आप नीचे देखिए खुशबू किसकी आ रही है. Well, we all have this pink dabba in our house, don't we? It may be a green or a blue. We all have a closed dabba because we don't want to smell it. Well, if we do not throw our kitchen waste, which we put inside this dabba for 2 days, especially now in this heat, we are also going to get the same khushbu that Shahrukh Khan is getting, isn't it? Why? You see, if you look outside your window, there are plants, there are insects, there are a lot of things which are constantly dying, degrading, but it never creates a smell. But why is it that when we do not throw the garbage from our kitchen waste, it starts smelling? It's a simple physics or a chemistry, I would say, which is aerobic. When it's in contact with air, it breaks down completely, giving you carbon dioxide and water. But when it is covered, it is closed, it does not get air, it does not get oxygen, it breaks down anaerobically, producing methane, which is a gas which burns, as I said, a lot of carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide, which smells. And this is what we need to change. This has to change. Look at what the kitchen are. What is a general kitchen waste? We have these nails. We have in our kitchen dustbin, we will put even these, bulbs and the plastics and all these. So what happens? I'm sorry, there's nobody in the house. I'll just go and unhook the phone and come. So what happens over here is, do you think that nail, that plastic and the batteries over there, when we throw it in a garbage bin, is it going to start smelling and stinking? It will not. But if you look at this gobi ka phool, or if you look at this flower, the dhania patta, if we throw that, is it going to rot and smell? Yes, it will be. So why is it that in a plastic bin, we put another plastic, throw all the garbage inside, tie a knot, tie a double knot, and we throw it outside, and then we say, Gai hamari mata hai. You see, that guy, that cow does not realize that along with the dhania patta and the gobi, there is also nails and glass and metal. It does not have this opposable thumb which we humans have, that we can untie the knot and eat what we want to. They take the whole packet because they get the smell of the food, unknowing that there is other hazardous substance in it, and they eat the whole thing along with the packet. And there are a lot of cows in India which die just because of our recklessness. Yes, we can always blame it on our maids and say, we haven't thrown it, the maid has, but whose house it is coming from. So we need to be a little more concerned and not be hypocritical about how we look at it. So when I'm talking about compostables, there's another thing which I like to point out is the cooked oil. After we finish cooking, there's a lot of oil. Normal practice is to throw it down the drain. But when you throw it down the drain, remember, it contaminates the water. And that is where it is eventually going. In fact, 1 liter of oil can contaminate about 1 million liter of water. It hinders the oxygen kills the organisms. In fact, it is a punishable act. And this is what we need to stop. RUCO is a new concept which is already there and is going to be introduced by next year, which is repurpose use cooking oil, where scientists have actually found way to convert used cooking oil into actually diesels. And there are Dehradun, based institutes which are doing a program with the Kendra Vidyalayas. Tell them that you give us 10 liters. So children collect their little of cooked oil, collect it in a drum, and once it is 10 liters, they give it to the institute and they get back a liter of edible oil. In fact, the research has gone so further that they're even planning to convert the cooking oil, the used cooking oil, into aviation fuel. So researchers are there. We need to actually help them and join them in directing them in the right place. As I said, have this mentality of keeping some budget and send it for proper recycling instead of just throwing it outside. When it comes to the compostables, that is the kitchen waste, it is possible to make them disappear. And I've been doing it for the last 17 years. I follow 5 principles. And the first one is to share. If you have extra food, I'm not talking about leftovers, but extra food, don't put it in the refrigerator and you keep it for 2-3 days and then you throw it in the dustbin. Give it to somebody who can eat it and feed and bless you for that, because there are a lot of people who go hungry to bed every day. The next thing we need to do is the leftovers. Like there are eggshells and their bones and other things. I'm in Bombay, as you know, and I'm on the 4th floor. I don't have a pet, but I have these flying dogs as my pets. And every day my eggshells and the bones which are left, I feed it to them. They take it in a zippy and they polish it off, and I don't have to throw it in my bin. So this is how I make use of my leftovers. The next thing are the seeds. We eat fruits, we eat vegetables, and we get a lot of seeds. I do not compost, but I actually sow the seeds. This is something which my husband loves to do it. We sow every seed from every fruit that we eat. And we have made plants, right? 2 balconies are basically the nurseries for these little seeds. You can see over here. What I do with the peels is that we get a lot of peels in our thing. I make bioenzymes, and that's a wonder enzyme. I'll talk about it. And of course, the rest of it, I compost. I've been composting for the last 17 years, and it's a pleasure to do that. So as I said, bank on your seeds, and every seed, every fruit we eat, we sow the seeds. And when you sow the seeds, you get a plant, and the next thing you want to do is to water the plant. So I actually use plastic bottles to make my drip irrigations, and I water them through that. And it's a wonderful feeling. And I can explain it to you maybe after the session exactly how to make that drip irrigation bottle per plant per bottle. And we are growing the fruits. You can see of the papaya is actually from the fruit we have eaten, and now we have the second crop which is coming up because we've been in Mumbai for over a year now. And the peels, I do magic. And I make Bioenzyme, which is actually a cleaner, and it's an organic product which is made by fermenting fruits, vegetables, and jaggery, where I use about 1% of jaggery and 10 parts of water and 3 parts of peels to make my Bioenzyme. I use another process where I don't have to wait, and that is called 60, 70, 80, 90, where I fill up a bottle till about 6 level. I divide the bottle into 10 parts, leave a little space on top, and I fill up water till about 6 mark. And then till 7 mark, I keep adding jaggery, which comes to about 1 part of it, till the water level comes over there. And then I fill it up with peels, where the water level comes to about 8 mark or the 80 mark. And I leave it for 90 days. The first 30 days is very crucial, where you need to open the bottle every day because it's a fermentation process. It produces a gas, and you don't want the plastic bottles to burst. In fact, you only use plastic bottles and no glass or metals because metals react, and you don't want any accidents with glass. So every day, just once, release the gas. Gas formation is more when you use a thinner bottle, but with a wide mouth bottle, the gas is automatically starts releasing. And then after 60 days, I open it occasionally until the whole thing starts forming. That is, the whole process of 90 days can be shortened to 30 days by just adding activated yeast just add few granules, and the whole process of 90 days gets finished in 30 days. So this is what I do. So what is the use of bioenzyme? I've actually given up on any kind of phenyl and soap for my kitchen, my washers, dishwashers. I've just removed them, and I actually use it for surface cleaning, vessel cleaning, personal care. I make my own shampoos with bioenzymes. It's an antibacterial. It helps in unclogging your drains. It's a pest control. I spray it for my plants whenever there is any aphid or any pests which attacks my plants. They work wonders. It's an excellent medium, and I have also made bioenzyme with lemon and green chilies and lasan, which are actually insect repellents. It works wonders. Prior to COVID, I used to use bioenzyme and Rita for my washing in my washing machine. But now, because my husband is a doctor and we are in a hospital area and there is COVID all around, I had to forcibly start using the detergent again, but that's only for my clothes, not for my kitchen. I don't use it still. Compost the rest. That is what I say. Whatever's left over, just compose the rest. I started it in 2004. It's 2021. 17 years, I have not stopped it. These are the pictures that you see. The day, 1 week and 1 month is my first picture I've taken of making my my compost. And you can see the black gold starts forming within a month's time. It's a very simple process. As I said, aerobically it has to be done. It's the same concept when you do it in a soil. You dig a soil and you put your waste. It's the same principle which I'm using in a bin. So I need a holy bin. So it can be made from a brick, or it can be mud, it can be wire, it can be wood. It needs to be aerated. So that's what I use, a bin. And once you have the bin is ready, I put on the base of it about 1/5 of it. I add some fiber. It can be coconut fiber. I started with just dry leaves and twigs. 1/5 of the container, you fill it up, add a little card or garden soil, and start putting your kitchen waste daily. All your kitchen waste, start putting it daily. It is important to keep a little balance of the nitrogen and carbon. So I keep tearing some newspapers or dry leaves you can add. So for 1 handful of the garbage, I add about 1 handful of the leaves you can add. Eggshells you can add, tea leaves you can add, but what you can't add and should not add is anything which is non-biodegradable. Because once you start adding that, the same concept of the landfill starts. That means it will start stinking. So please do not add anything which is non-biodegradable. A liquid comes out which is known as a leachate. So if it's in your ground, let it just flow in, because it's going to enrich your soil. Otherwise, in my balconies, I put a little container below, collect it, dilute it, and give it to my plants. If it smells, it will smell only if we are not careful. If you've added some cooked food, or we add some sweets in it, or oil in it, or non-veg, that's why I give it to my flying dogs. Then all you need to do is add dry, gritty soil, and trust me, I've done it many times. The smell goes away in a jiffy. And this is something which has worked for me for 17 years, and I vouch for it. Once your bin is full, just cover it with a little soil. The microbes will take care of it, little leaf, and close the lid. Remember, close the lid. It should be air should start coming in. And when your one bin gets filled, start with the next bin. The moment your second bin gets filled, your first bin compost will be ready. So without stopping, you can continuously, in a cycling method, continue to compost. As I said, I've been doing it for 17 years now. Even your garden waste, you can do the same. It's the same thing you can do with them. You can add your greens, which is your grass, your dry leaves, add some soil from time to time, and do water it, because your garden waste is very dry, and you will see from the bottom the black gold, that is your compost, will start forming. It's a beautiful method. It is time that we repay our debt to our nature. We only know how to take from our nature. This is the best way we can give it back to nature, because once you give that soil to nature, the nature will give it back to us only. So yes, we are selfish. And this is a thing which that's something which you should not do only individually, but in a community also, in an organization also. So when I was working at Sanskriti school, I actually was able to bring in a zero waste target, and all the papers that was collected, because school produces a lot of paper, we used to lift it. There's a concept of lifting paper from the used paper. I used to make used chart paper. Composting I've already told about. And I did another thing which took care of my non-biodegradable. That is, I collected and I connected with rag picker boys. And this boy's name is Abdul. You've seen these boys, you know, they walk the streets with this jola in their hand. And trust me, they have to fill up that jola with 60 kg of weight. Then only they can sell it. Otherwise, they cannot. So if I adopted this boy Abdul, he used to come to my school in the evening. Morning, he was compulsory, was asked to go to school. Evening, he will come to my school. Everything was segregated and binned. He will sort it out and bag it and sell it. So when I used to ask Abdul, "Tu bada hoke kya banega?" he used to say, "Main bada hoke padha likha kabadi wala banunga." He became a driver eventually. So we can change a lot of lives if we can connect with them. I did a 2 years program going around from colonies of rat pickers, telling them and about education, about the true labor, how to use safety measures, and how to even keep their family small, because that is what the problem is. They have large family. They feel that the more hands they will have, the more money they will get, but they forget that the more hands they will also have more stomach to feed. And therefore there is poverty. Remember, waste is something which actually pollutes our water, our air, our soil. It's toxic to our environment, and it's an energy guzzler. But if we can change this waste and move to zero waste, then we can start living as the natural world does. And the same waste, which we treat it properly, can actually improve our water, our air, our soil. The toxicity can be removed, and we can use that waste to our advantage and use it for making our own energy. So this is what we need to look at waste as a resource and not as a waste. And this is possible. So let's restore our earth, which is the theme for this month's Earth Day, which is on 22nd April. And let's follow the laws of nature, because all I've talked to you about is only common sense, and it's possible to do it. If I can do it, I'm sure everybody can do it. And let's make our world a better place. Remember, what you see in front is Sare Jahan Se Acha. Take care of it. We don't have another world to move to. This is a home that we all share. So let's take care of it. Let's be the change. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nita ji. It was an excellent presentation. I think all of us, if we learn, I think it is not one person's job. If all of us learn and the whole world gradually changes, I think quite a few developed countries started this many years ago, because we used to see baskets, various baskets about 20, 30 years ago in those countries. But India, I think still the education about this is still lacking. And once it comes, I think we can generate a lot of money also, as you said, from the West, and we can save our environment. Thank you. It was an excellent presentation.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Vasant ji had one question. Yeah.
Yes.
Please go ahead. You can unmute yourself.
Sorry, no question. Sorry.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
If anybody has any questions, they can put it in chat box.
In the chat box.
I think nobody wants to question you.
I'm a good teacher.
Yes.
Hello.
Good.
Hello. I'm Sillu Marka. I just wanted to say, even we are trying our best to make people segregate into at least dry and wet, so that things can be composted, and the dry goes to the people who make some money from it, or they recycle it and they reuse it or whatever. We are trying our best in our own small area. And we find that, people who don't know what to do, they may have questions like you said, diapers or sanitary napkins. They are actually not something pleasant to handle. So we have been telling people, pack it tightly in a newspaper, and then maybe if you like, put it in put a big red marking
Yes,
pen
red
and
dot.
put
Yes.
a red cross and explain to the people collecting that this should not be open because it is not clean, and they should not get any infection from it. So we try to do it that way, and maybe some people follow it. you know that's just a way of and like you said, if it's broken glass or something, we put in a box and we cover it and we tie it firmly so that it cannot open and people don't step on it. Like if it gets thrown in a big pile of garbage, people won't know what they are stepping on. So in small ways we can help the rag pickers and the poor people who actually try to make money from recycling.
Yes. Actually, today in Cell, I read an article which said that 60% of our drainage get blocked because of packets which have got biodegradable waste along with sanitary napkins in a plastic bag, and that's
Ah,
causing a huge problem. So what
of
happens
course.
when the sanitary napkins gets into the drain? They become hard, and they are the root cause of causing the damage and the blockage. But on this Saturday, in fact, I will be doing a presentation with a group of dental ladies, where I'm going to speak only on sanitary napkins and how hazardous our commercial sanitary napkins are. Because there is a whole concept that, where we look at the packet, we see how beautiful it is and whatever. But if you look carefully, the sanitary napkins have no mention of what is the material they're made of, what chemicals are used. Nothing is mentioned over there because it comes under medical products, and comes under BIS and not under what it should be, like other medical devices are under. So therefore, according to law, it doesn't have to be disclosed. But so what basically people are using in sanitary napkins is 99% plastic, which is a
Yes.
huge problem, and especially in places like Bombay, where it's sultry and hot. So now a lot of people are switching to reusable and menstrual cups and other things. So the thing is, people actually need to know about what is the product, which is alternative products, which one should go for. So there's a lot of awareness is there, but awareness is only there to limited people and not everyone.
Right. Thank
Sanitary
you.
napkins are actually posing to be a huge problem.
Thank you.
Gautam, do you have any questions? Gautam,
I have one question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I had heard. I was talking to a
You
friend
can
of
be
mine.
seen on video, Gautam. The face is good enough.
Yeah, I've turned my video on. By this friend of mine was telling me that Sweden, he's also into some sort of waste management. He said Sweden is actually a country which makes such efficient use of its waste that apparently they are looking for waste. So is that true? Where
Yes. Yes. In fact, see, it's. I'll tell you a simple example. It all depends upon how your authorities look at waste. My brother's based in Belgium, and one day, we were with him. All of a sudden, he jumped, and we wondered what happened. And all he got, because he forgot to take out the garbage, which was a wet garbage. On that particular day, he was supposed to take it out, and he realized in the last moments. He jumped. He packed in everything, kept it out. He was actually sweating. So I asked him, why are you taking so much of tension because of a garbage? He says, no, this is wet waste. If I don't take it out on today, then I have to hold on to it for another 1 week, another
Yes.
3 days. And if I take it out on the wrong day, I will be heavily charged. And he also told me that the bags he was filling it in, he cannot buy those bags from an open market. They can be only bought from the commune. So depending upon how much garbage you are generating, you have to collect so many bags. So they are it's a way of collecting the money your tax through by selling the bags. So it is so controlled. It is so controlled. Sweden also has the same thing. So because in Sweden, most people are into non-veg, they're into meat and other products. So they even have to, even the bones and the fish bones or whatever they're eating, as I said, there are particular days to take out your wet waste. They actually put the biodegradable waste, what perishes very fast, like the bones and other things, into a plastic container, defreeze it, and take it out when they have to take it out on that particular day. They're so particular because it's all about, fining them if they do it on a wrong day. So as I say, PESA is dear to everybody. Unless we make this accountable, unless we say if you throw the wrong thing on the wrong day and you are going to be fined, and it should be an accountable thing, this trash of ours, we are going to keep wallowing in it. So we need to have a very strong will to take care of it. What you said about Sweden is absolutely right. And people are conscious about it. So you see, education is important. People are conscious. So like I thought what my brother did, he has become conscious because of this drill which they are facing every day. So to begin with, it becomes something which is very taxing, but eventually it becomes a habit. And this only comes when there is compulsion.
Yeah, there is one question. Can anything be done with the leftover solid waste from a multi-effect evaporator, which is a part of a zero liquid discharge movement?
Sorry, say it again.
Can anything be done with the leftover solid waste from a multi-effect evaporator, which is a part of a zero liquid discharge movement? It is written in the chat box. If then you'll be able to read.
Yeah.
Mohit Bhende has asked.
Yeah, but if you can tell me what is that, which is the question?
That is too technical. I think.
Safe.
All right. Yeah, it is a very technical question.
No, that's okay. Organize. I don't know where it is, the question.
Actually, ma'am.
Water treatment and this thing.
Yes. So we are into the field of.
So we are effluent water treatment. Okay.
Yeah. So we are into that field, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Whose question is this? Mohit.
This is mine. My name is
Mohit. Mohit, if you can tell me, yes.
Basically, we do effluent treatment for pharmaceutical industries.
Yes.
Then every pharmaceutical industry now wants a zero liquid discharge treatment process. So after the effluent treatment, the water goes through a reverse osmosis plant. Most of the water is taken back for reuse. Then the reject water from the RO has extremely high TDS, right? Dissolved solids. So then that goes into a multi-effect evaporator. The stuff is evaporated, but then I have seen there is a large amount of ash or something,
residue
that is left over there. And I've observed that people just come, take it and go. Now, I know that is toxic, that is extremely toxic powder or ash or whatever you may call it. So I was just wondering, can anything be done with that ash?
See, so the first thing is it has to be analyzed, and the whole chemistry of that ash needs to be taken care of. Secondly, whoever's producing it cannot allow people to just come and take it away just because it's as you said, it's toxic. So there has to be an accountability.
No, so the government agencies come, the pollution control people come and.
Then if they are collecting it, then I'm sure they will be treating it another way. So as I said, everything can be broken down into its subsequent, components. So if it is being collected by the government, I'm sure they are taking care of it. If it's not, then one needs to find out. But definitely one needs to know the chemistry. But once you know the chemistry, it can be treated chemically, it can be neutralized. It is possible.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Can you please tell me what is the proper and safe means for diaper and sanitary napkins? How do we throw?
See, first of all, my first advice is reduce the waste as much as you can. Shivali?
Yeah, my name is Shivali.
Shivali, how old are you? How old
I'm
are you?
38.
38. So I
Yeah.
would like you that my first thing, as I said, if you want, I can share my link for my Saturday. You listen to me when I'm going to talk about sanitary napkins and how unsafe it is when we are using a plastic the sanitary napkins. As I said, they are not a product which we actually need to remove it from our wardrobe. So if possible, please switch to something which is reusable and rewashable. And the best
Okay.
product which you can move on to, where you need to have a mindset, if you're open to it, is the menstrual cup, because that is a zero waste. That's
Okay.
zero waste. If you're using menstrual cup, one should switch to menstrual cup. I've come to know about it now, but it's of no use to me. But I do advise people to switch to that, because if you really want to help the environment, as I said, 12
Okay.
million, sanitary napkins go into the landfills for every year, and they are there for 800 years. So
Yeah.
your 8th generation, even
I
your
have
12th
read.
generation, it's not going to disappear, and it's a huge problem. So when you talk about biomedical waste, and if there's coronavirus and if it's going over there, remember, any fluid from the body, even if it is fecal matter or urine or blood, it
Yeah.
can have the virus. So it's a huge problem. And this time of a pandemic, we need to think about others too, not only us. The pandemic can, even if you get infected, it can come back to you again, because it's coming back in a mutated form.
Correct.
It's the mindset. Switch over to reusable, and there are plenty of NGOs who are actually come out with various products. There are even sanitary napkins which are available, which are made out of banana fibers and other fibers which are used. There are a lot of researches going on, but
Okay.
definitely give up plastic, which is going to cause harm to you.
Yeah. And what about diapers, ma'am?
The diapers
People are
again.
using 3 to 4 diapers in a day.
Again, diapers are again plastic, and you're giving it to a newborn baby.
Yes.
See? So as I said, these products come under medical products, not medical device. Okay, so there's a whole nomenclature changes. So like in the same companies which are making these diapers are all American based company, but in America, they come under FDA. So by rule, they have to do certain chemical and analysis and tests before they can bring it out into the market. But the same company, when they make it in India, since it is medical product and not a device, they don't have to say what this material is made of. So actually, our sanitary napkins and diapers, which you use it for infants, if it is made in India, it is actually consists of something which is known as a super absorbent thing, and a dioxin, which are harmful to your body, and they have chemicals which they will not tell you what it is, which causes a lot of complications. I don't want to go into the gory detail, that is going to become a Z horror show. So if you want to see and know, contact me, and you can join me on Saturday, and then you can see my Z horror show that day.
Okay.
But these are
Thank you,
chemicals.
ma'am.
You can Google and find out. It's all there in the open. They're actually, and
Right.
in a child and even in a female, the vaginal and the vulva region is a very thin membrane compared to the rest of your body. This mucous membrane is very thin. So chemicals can transfer from the napkins, from the diapers into our blood system. So this is what we need to. That's why people are actually fighting, NGOs are fighting to bring them under the proper control drug. That is what they are fighting against. It should not be under BIS, and I believe BIS in 1980s they had done when they had done the analysis, they only analyzed how fluffy it is, how soft it is, how comfortable it is, just a little pH, nothing after that. No tests have been done. And now recently the same tests have been repeated after so many years with a little minor changes over here, still not disclosing what is the chemicals, what is the material we are using for our women and children.
Right, ma'am. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hi, Nita. This is Zenobia.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm from other Parsi colony, and Sillu auntie spoke earlier. Now we are a group of 4 ladies who've been trying, to ask the buildings to segregate. But what we are facing is I think we've managed to get maybe around 20 buildings to segregate. The BMC has said, they are sending us van, but we are finding that the residents are not very cooperative. And the thing is, because we don't have any authority, we can't force them. And the authorities are sending a notice, but it is still up to you if you want to do it. So like you said earlier, how your brother jumped out, and because it is forced, but I mean, why aren't we forcing it out here? Why isn't the BMC and the this thing making it mandatory for everyone to do it? Because here we feel like for the last 3 years we are banging our head against the residents, and they are just not bothered to a certain extent.
Well, I think you need to the community needs to make it compulsory. There's no other way, because even if one little thing mixes, it's going to cause a disaster. The whole purpose, as I said, it does not work like that. So it has to. Whether BMC actually says that you have to segregate. You have to take care of your wet waste.
But there is no fine, or there is nothing to deter people to actually do the segregation.
Absolutely. So, but the community can do it. Your society can do it.
We are. The thing is, we are not.
So don't collect it. It's like you should have a meeting and you come to a consensus, and you say we will not collect if it is mixed.
No. So ours is like individual buildings. We are not a gated community.
Okay.
So the problem is each building is on its own. The thing is, we've been working with the BMC. They are sending separate vans for the dry waste, but it's the residents who are not being cooperative. So we are wondering, we've even spoken to the ward officers saying that you implement a fine, so that because we don't have the authority to tell people that you have to segregate. We can broadcast it. We have 200 people on our group chat who we occasionally go on sending them reminders you have to segregate. But till the authorities do not put pressure on everybody to do it, we are finding it very difficult to implement it.
Yeah. So Arish, you're Arish, right?
No, that's my son's name by mistake.
Okay.
I'm Zenobia.
Okay, Zenobia, the thing is, when my husband was in the army, he's retired now. So when I had these boys who were with us, so when I started this, because I've been doing it for a long time.
I know.
Whenever I get posted, we always get new set of people, boys, who are with us. So it's I keep 2 dustbins in my kitchen, and there's always going to be there are always some misses and all things. So I used to personally go and pick it up and segregate it. So it's important that start with talk to your people around and tell them to start keeping. It's very important to keep 2 bins next to each other. Just keep 2 bins next to each other. Color code unne se acha hai, and slowly it will start happening. But if there's only 1 bin, they will not segregate. It should be next to each other. So when I started composting in my school, Sanskriti school, when I was working, I made sure, the area behind the canteen was actually a cemented area. But I built my compost pit over there. I said, if I go to make it somewhere far off, people are going to have an excuse, bahut dur hai. So I made it right behind the kitchen. So it's important that if you can convince your defaulters to start with, just keep 2 bins next to each other, a green and a whatever color, and just tell them that this is what is important. And somehow, whether by scare or whatever it is, whatever way, otherwise call me and I'll talk to them.
Thank you, Nita. Unless all of us improve, I don't think there is a solution. Municipal corporation already has a fine thing, but it is for major societies. But still, I don't think they're implementing. But gradually it will come. So I think rather than waiting for the fine from municipal corporation or something, we should act something, but without cooperation from the citizens and each individual, no municipal corporation can do anything. Thank you.
It
Thank
has
you.
to come from
It
fines.
was
From within.
excellent.
Yeah, it has to come from within.
Fines, yeah. It has to come from
Thank
above.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
I
much.
think it was eye opener, and I think we have to promote it to the whole society.
Yes.
Now I thank Nitaji for the excellent presentation. Now in last week we had 2 birthdays. On 9th of April, birthday of Rotarian Gaurang Mehta, and 12th of April, Rotarian Shefali Shah celebrated their birthday. We wish them both very happy birthday and very good time to go and full life. Our Rotarian Gautam Chande's daughter Ananya figured in first 25 in under 15 badminton in the world. So congratulations to Ananya and Gautam, and I think Sunanda, whole family. Thank you. And now I request Rotarian Apurva Gangar to propose a vote of thanks. Apurva.
Thank you so much. I thank Nita Ganguly for coming here at our club and delivering an amazing session on waste management. Just wanted to mention that this topic is of a great interest and great importance at this day today, because as we are facing the pandemic, I think waste is going to create another set of infection or anything that will kind of hamper the mankind. So your session was very useful. And, I think more than me thanking, I think people who ask so many questions, and such interesting questions is always a gratitude to the speaker, right? So that, it's like a test of time that people actually heard you right. And, they actually had that thought process going on. And I always believe if there are no questions, then the audience is always sleeping. So for all the audience who is present here, thank you very much, all our club members for attending the session, all the members who have joined us from the external sources. We welcome you to Rotary Club of Bombay West, and we hope you stay connected with us. That's all from my end. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Apurva.